What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, newly crowned 3-belt, unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Errol the True Spence Jr., who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, with a record of now 28 wins, no loss and no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He's 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Errol Spence Jr., he responds back after his dominating performance victory over former WBA Cuban star world champion welterweight Yordenis Ugas, in which Errol Spence, he broke Yordenis Ugas' ribs, nose, and right orbital bone, okay, and got a 10th round stoppage victory to become 3-belt holder, okay? So he holds the WBA, WBC, and IBF now. He's heading into a massive showdown, undisputed now, that's the boxing world has been anticipating and waiting for, between himself and undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Crawford. Okay, Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no losses, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach at 34 years of age. Terence Crawford is training at the SNAC program, with BALCO founder and SNAC founder Victor Conte. Now, we know the history of Victor Conte. Victor Conte is the face of performance enhancers for athletes around the world, okay? Victor Conte is known for that, okay? He made it aware about HGH and performance enhancers and things of that nature with BALCO and the situation that took place between himself and the MLB, Major League Baseball players and things of that sort. So Victor Conte now has the SNAC program, okay? He is trying to make aware of fighters and athletes not being tested and not being on the up and up, okay? So he's trying to, essentially refurbish his image, okay? And so he's now in the sport of boxing. He's not in any other major sports but the sport of boxing. He has supplements. He has plenty of things. So with that said, Victor Conte, he takes to social media and he continues to highlight the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions. He continues to highlight, Tom Brown, TGB Promotions, who works with PBC. One point he was highlighting the WBC, World Boxing Council. And he continues to focus on Manny Pacquiao, legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer, Errol Spence Jr., and Yordenis Ugas, and a few other fighters, okay? And so he's claiming that Errol Spence Jr. continues to have something to hide, essentially, okay? And that the PBC continues to have something to hide. The PBC are not making everybody aware of what they have going on with the VADA testing. So he stated that, why is it a secret, okay? That their VADA testing is always a secret. It's always private. Why is that, okay? When everybody else makes it everybody aware, okay? He is, again, now I agree, all fighters should be tested, I think, year round. I think that all fighters needs to be, tested, because the sport of boxing is already dangerous enough and you should not have any unfair advantages, okay? But Victor Conte is pointing the finger at the wrong people, okay? He's pointing the finger at the athletes. Now, he does highlight, like I said, every now and then, he does highlight, PBC, and he says that the Zone and Top Rank, they make it aware, and it's public record that you can see, their athletes in the clean VADA program testing. And he also, put up Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, undefeated 2-division world champion, who's going after his 3rd division title. He put up his paperwork, essentially, of VADA testing. And, he stated, and he added Errol Spence, and he added PBC, and he added, TGB Promotions. He's adding all these people, and he's stating that, this is what 100% proof looks like. And he puts up Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade's, VADA testing paperwork, right? And he says this is how you truly prove that you're clean, right? He also goes at Isaac Pitbull Cruz and Yuriorkis Gamboa. So, and then he congratulate fighters that he knows about that's in the testing program, like Tyson Fury and Dillian White, and now Oscar Valdez, Shakur Stevenson. Okay, so he continues to go on. And if you know the history, there's been people for a while now, that have been claiming that, for a while now that, Errol Spence Jr. has an unfair advantage, okay? For quite some time, you get people claiming that Errol Spence Jr. is having an unfair advantage, okay? Errol Spence Jr., is not on the up and up, and, Errol Spence Jr. there's no way, it's not humanly possible that Errol Spence is able to, sustain that workload that he's putting up, okay? Errol Spence Jr., is not, that he needs to be tested. We need to see proof that Errol Spence is on the up and up, and, things of this nature, right? And so with that said, people always say, look at Errol Spence's nipples, look at Errol Spence's chest, look at his vascularity, look at his work rate. It's not normal, okay? And so Victor Conte, and Errol Spence, they had a spat in which at one point in time, he stated, kudos to Errol Spence for showing proof and explaining his history with VADA, okay? But this is things he had to say, and so Errol Spence, he responds that, this dude is the face of non-clean boxing, okay? He is the absolute epitome of non-clean sports, right? So Victor Conte, he put this. He says, below is an example for boxing, and at, Errol Spence Jr., at Yadena Sugas, at the PBC, at TGB Promotions, of credible evidence that Boo Boo Andrade is doing full VADA testing. Any other state commission drug testing is likely not full VADA testing. The truth looks like this, right? And so he puts up this Demetrius Andrade's work, right? Now keep in mind, he had the spat with Errol Spence, where Errol Spence, essentially was saying that, he turned cold and things of that nature. And Victor Conte, he goes on to say, I never, told on anybody I took my punishment like a man, so on and so forth. And he stated that, he gave credit to Errol Spence. And he said this, right? Much respect to Errol Spence for clarifying his history with VADA testing. I recently posted they may be doing VADA. The history for PBC boxers is not to allow VADA to be transparent. Why the secrecy? Generally, people's PBC boxers are not posted by VADA. Boxers with top rank and the zone are posted, okay? Then he responded to Errol Spence. Let's clarify for the people, the distractors out there. Once again, the truth is important for boxing to understand. No cooperation by me with the government in the BALCO case. No testimonial or evidence provided me by against any other athletes, right? And so, he said, maybe you should ask VADA why they allow it. VADA could stipulate that conditions, so on and so forth. So Errol Spence said, he responds, now we know Terence Crawford, who was working with SNAC program for the Sean Porter fight, which was the biggest fight of his career. We know this because we saw the SNAC tag on Terence Crawford's trunks, okay? And so Terence Crawford is now, we see more proof of him actually training there at SNAC program, and, people are starting, obviously it's the biggest fight in boxing. So people are starting to speculate, why is he there? He's trying to get up his strength, so on and so forth, right? And, then Victor Conte, he lets it be known that for this fight with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, there needs to be strict, stringent VADA testing, hands down. And so, Fred Barbershop Conversations, salute to my brother Fred Barbershop Conversations. He puts up a post on his social media. He did an interview with Victor Conte, and he called out Victor Conte on numerous occasions, okay? And one particular interview, he called out Victor Conte. Victor Conte wasn't happy. Victor Conte was trying to explain, why he,
you know. A question like, why are you still allowed to be in boxing?
You know what? That's an ignorant question.
Elaborate.
We live in a society of second chances. I went to prison. I served my time.
You did 4 months.
Okay, and I cooperated with nobody. Nobody got in trouble because of me. I came back out, and since then, and that's a long time ago, 15 years ago, and I've built my way back up, and I'm more successful than ever now, and hopefully I can be a role model for the young people that have made mistakes that can now understand that doesn't destroy the rest of your life. So
we believe in second chances, but November 16th, Willie Monroe was just popped for an illegal substance, and he's under SNAC. He's been working with you for some time, so
you got your facts wrong.
So he goes on to tell Fred that he has his facts wrong. Fred doesn't know what he's talking about, so on and so forth. So Fred put this up, as you can see. It says Victor Conte. You see this post right here. He says, Victor Conte was convicted of being the biggest drug cheat in the history of professional sports, right? And so he puts this up, and Errol Spence seconds that exactly, and he puts the check mark, right? And so he lets you know, right, I second that. There's a lot of athletes that train with Victor Conte. There's a lot of athletes that train with SNAC. Victor Conte, though, if you look at history, he's never had an athlete that was actually training under him that tests positive, okay? He never had that, which means that obviously Victor Conte, his specialty was, okay, to be able to give you a supplement that's undetected, okay? That is his specialty, to give you a supplement that cannot be detected. And so that's exactly what he did, right? So he's never actually had an athlete, so Errol Spence, he puts this post up, right? And you can see the post, Errol Spence, he reposts it, then he puts the check mark to let you know, right, Victor Conte, right? He's never had an athlete actually test positive, right? No baseball players, none of them, because his specialty is to be able to give you supplements and things to help your performance without it being detected. So now I understand, I respect Victor Conte's stance that he wants to clean up the sport, right? But still at the end of the day, Victor Conte can't be throwing stones when he lives in a glass house. Now, if anybody's qualified to be able to point out athletes that are maybe not on the up and up, it should be Victor Conte. But again, we've never had Victor Conte actually have an athlete test positive for one of his supplements. So how do we know about his supplements? You don't. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Hopefully we get the fight. This is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Looks like could take place in September. Errol Spence responds, letting him know Victor Conte is the face of performance enhancers being provided in the sport of boxing. And yet he continues to go on the pace of trying to place these accountability on Errol Spence Jr. So let's see how this fight and everything unfolds. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share your videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.